Hi, I'm Larry Prohaska. I have been in the training and education field for multiple decades, and I'm putting together just a short introduction for you on what the creativity training program is about. This is one of the first things I learned when I was teaching at the university, so I started playing with accelerated learning, mind mapping, and that sort of thing back in the early 80s. Part of my motivation at that time was I wanted to help students learn how to learn rather than just learn how to memorize. And lo and behold, I got really good at helping people think. So I started my offering creativity training programs. My first client was IBM. I was traveling down to Austin, Texas, and locally to Boulder and a few other places. And my objective was to help them experience creativity, not sit there and take notes about creativity. So a big part of my journey was, how can I be more flexible? I had no corporate background, so I was really intimidated by the whole process. And so I was like meticulously prepared. And then it dawned on me I'm teaching creativity. So I started taking some classes in improvisational comedy, which would let me be more comfortable with going with the flow, be more spontaneous, but it also let me do something that was a real aid for my facilitation career. I could listen to what was happening in the room at the moment, and my intuition would tell me what is the proper or beneficial or helpful thing to share, to do, to introduce, to ask at this moment. So creativity is something I've done for a lot of different companies. I was on the faculty with the FBI for a while, taught at Johns Hopkins University, shared some creativity training with Hewlett Packard, with Microsoft at different times. I even had an opportunity to do that with the Discovery Channel. And what I like about the idea of creativity is it's generic. It doesn't limit itself to a particular industry and that type of thing. So a couple things I'd like for you to know. My father asked me this once, like, son, how do you teach people creativity? And the short answer is you don't. You really don't have to. The tricky part of creativity is getting people to stop blocking themselves. When you're 5 years old, nobody gave you instructions on how to take a box or a stick or a can of dirt and turn it into something that you could play with and use your imagination. Somehow they got kind of drilled out of people. So creativity for me is helping people remove the blinders that limit them, the logical analysis and criticism that keeps us from seeing things differently, and expand their vision of the world and see things from different perspectives. So a couple things. It's impossible or almost impossible to be creative by trying to, because the efforting process is totally contradictory to the allowing process. However, there are ways of thinking that cause or invite you to see things differently, to see a different perspective or see different components. And the byproduct of that is creativity. So it's not like you have to try, but it's like, well, if what you're doing isn't giving you creativity, then try something else. Second thing is, the solution to every problem is right in front of your nose. It has to exist in the same exact set of circumstances and conditions that are causing the problem in the first place. So it's not like you're inventing something, but if you're not seeing it, then change the way you're looking. So those are a couple of the things that I bring in with me. The other thing I do, and I'm really good at, is there's a process of receiving thoughts that's different than controlling thoughts. And creativity is about getting into that receptive mode. Everybody that I know has had an aha. And then almost immediately after the aha, the solution that occurs to them is so obvious and so simple that it makes them feel stupid. Where was it before you saw it? You don't have to invent that solution. So to me, it's a big part of balancing, focusing on problems, focusing on solutions. So what I do right now, I have a program that's about 2.5 to 3 hours long. It's highly interactive, it's highly engaging, and people find, as a result of participating in the different activities, that they have more flexibility than they thought before. And then the trick is, how do you take these tools with you back into the workplace, put them into practice on a regular, consistent basis, and as a result of that, see things from a more creative standpoint. So we talk a little bit about that. What is the process? How do you build in time? How do you build in space? How do you increase your capacity to ponder and not be in an impatient hurry to rush to a solution? Those are some of the components. And two things about the program. One of them is just fun. And the second thing is that these tools, because they're not industry specific, they're not situation specific. You can use them every place in your life. My early training was growing up on the farm. And, we didn't have a lot of the tools and things that were accessible today. So we're always inventing things. So if something broke and we needed to do something, we started with that solution in mind. What does this need to do? And what are the things at my disposal to help put that together maybe differently than it was intended? So I can at least accomplish that short term so I can get it home, we can get it repaired. So I just wanted to put together a few ideas on the creative process and creativity. There you go. Take care of yourself. Have a good life. Bye-bye.